Thanks for joining us for CBN News Midday. I'm Heather Sells.
And I'm Mark Martin. Topping our news, the U.S. military is confirming that all 4 people who were hijacked on a private yacht off the coast of Somalia have been killed. The dead include a Christian couple who had been passing out Bibles in ports around the world. News of the tragic end came in late this morning. Washington correspondent John Jessup has been following the story, and he joins us now with the latest. John, first of all, what do we know about the 2 couples, and how were they killed?
Well, U.S. Central Command says that they heard gunshots aboard the pirated vessel around 1 o'clock this morning Eastern Time. They boarded the vessel and found all 4 Americans shot and killed. Those 4 Americans, of course, are Scott and Jean Adam, their friends Phyllis McKay and Bob Riggle. They tried to revive them, but they were unsuccessful.
Now, there was a U.S. naval warship that was tracking the couple's yacht. What was its involvement? It just seems like something could have been done to prevent this.
Well, according to the military statement, U.S. forces had been monitoring the ship for several days, and in fact, they had begun negotiations for the hostages' release. In all, 4 Navy warships were a part of this response. They ended up killing 2 pirates and have more than a dozen in custody right now, but they believe as many as 19 pirates were involved in this particular hijacking.
Wow, 19. Well, the Somali coast, I mean, it's notorious for hijackings.
Right.
Any idea why the couples chose that route?
Well, ultimately, they were heading to Turkey and then on to London, and they knew that this leg of their journey would be very difficult, so they had asked members of their church to pray for their safety. But again, this is the quickest route to get to where they were ultimately going through the Suez Canal.
Some have been speculating that the mere fact that they had Bibles on board could present even more danger for the hostages. What's your take on that?
Well, Somalia, of course, is a lawless nation, and Islamic rebel insurgents al-Shabaab have a strong foothold in the country, and they are known to have links to the weapons and to the training that often ends up in the hands of the pirates. So if there's a link with the weapons and the training, it's easy to draw a link to the religious ideology, and that may, of course, have been a factor in the fates of those Americans, 2 of which were self-professing Christians.
Oh, it's a sad story. I know that there are church members in California, at least fellow church members from one of the couples who went to church in California. I know they're praying for them. Thanks for your insights, John.
Thank you, Mark.
U.S. Christian leaders are engaged in a Twitter campaign to help a Christian sentenced to death in Afghanistan. Saeed Musa has been in prison since May 2009. He converted from Islam to Christianity, a crime punishable by death in Afghanistan. Now, American Christians are calling for government and media leaders to speak up on his behalf. Author John Piper is one of many calling on President Obama to speak wisely and boldly on Musa's behalf. Saddleback pastor Rick Warren targeted the media, linking to a blog post about Musa. He wrote, "Media claim to champion free speech, but if they really did, they'd report these stories every day." The Supreme Court has passed up a chance to take another look at a 6-year-old ruling that struck down the display of the 10 Commandments in 2 Kentucky courthouses. 2 separate counties had appealed recent lower court rulings barring them from posting the commandments. That's after they made changes to the displays to include multiple religious and government documents.
Maryland's Senate could legalize gay marriage any time now, and if that happens, the House of Delegates is expected to follow suit shortly thereafter. But there are those who are putting up a fight to keep Maryland from becoming the 6th state to legalize same-sex marriage. Paul Strand has more.
The future of marriage in Maryland is on the line right now in the Bayside city of Annapolis. 24 senators inside the State House there have indicated they'll vote yes to approve same-sex marriage, probably this week, exactly the number needed to legalize it. Then the action moves to the House of Delegates. At a hearing this Friday, defenders of traditional marriage will try at a House hearing to dissuade the generally liberal delegates to not go along with their Senate colleagues. On another front, the state's Republican Party has sent out email alerts to Marylanders saying it is urgent that you contact your state senator immediately to tell them to vote no on the assault on traditional marriage.
If they vote the wrong way on this issue, there's going to be some repercussions on that.
Social conservative leaders are pushing as well.
This is about our culture. This is about generations. This is about our children. And I think it's fair enough to say that we need to keep marriage the way it's currently defined in this state and not allow one small group to say we want to redefine it for everybody else.
The conservative National Organization for Marriage has released a poll showing 54% of Maryland voters back the traditional definition of marriage. Just 37% support same-sex marriage. But that's in conflict with another poll that suggests Marylanders back legalizing gay marriage, 51 to 44%. If lawmakers do come down on the side of same-sex marriage, opponents say they'll immediately begin the process of trying to get the issue put on the ballot so Marylanders themselves can decide whether or not their state accepts gay marriage.
You see, that's where the decision should be made, within the people. The group of legislators down here who are proponents of same-sex marriage do not represent the overall majority of Marylanders. So we need to put it back in the hands of Marylanders.
They can do something about this issue. They can make sure that marriage remains between one man and one woman in this state.
Paul Strand, CBN News.
An abortion doctor who became a leading pro-life activist has died at age 84. Dr. Bernard Nathanson worked at an abortion clinic in New York. He said that he had a change of heart after seeing ultrasound images of the babies he was aborting. Nathanson estimated that he was responsible for 75,000 abortions before he quit. He later narrated the pro-life film The Silent Scream, in which he said, "I accuse Planned Parenthood and all its co-conspirators in the abortion industry of consistent conspiracy of silence, of keeping women in the dark with respect to the true nature of abortion."
Turning overseas now, a controversial Muslim cleric has issued a fatwa ordering the death of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. Youssef al-Qaradawi says any Libyan soldier who can shoot Gaddafi dead should do so to, quote, rid Libya of him. Meanwhile, hundreds are dead after bloody clashes between anti-government protesters and Muammar Gaddafi's army. Key Western nations are urging the United Nations to demand an immediate end to Gaddafi's brutal crackdown on civilian protesters. Here's Charlene Israel.
Amid rumors he had fled the country, images of Muammar Gaddafi were broadcast on Libyan state TV. The video shows the defiant leader surrounded by a group of his supporters dancing and chanting in favor of his regime. Meanwhile, protesters celebrated in the streets of Benghazi on Monday, claiming control of the country's second largest city after bloody fighting. In the capital, protests are gaining strength, a sign the demonstrations are spreading after 6 days. But the government response has been brutal. Military snipers have opened fire on protesters, and witnesses say Gaddafi supporters are driving trucks full speed through the crowds, firing automatic weapons and running over demonstrators. In the city of Tobruk, a police station is set ablaze and left to burn. Gaddafi's son, Seif, says reform talks will begin in a matter of days, but warns of civil war if the protests continue, saying there will be bloodshed. Rivers of blood will flow. The situation is raising alarm at the European Union's summit meeting in Brussels.
Would you imagine to have an Islamic Arab Emirates at the borders of Europe? This would be a really serious threat, and that's why we consider Libya one of the areas to be taken into full consideration, wishing for peaceful reconciliation.
World leaders are trying to strike the right balance on how to act.
This process can be hijacked. It can be hijacked by both outside and inside elements within any country.
Meanwhile, in an act of defiance, 2 Libyan pilots have defected to Malta. The senior colonels say they were told to bomb protesters demonstrating in the streets, but they refused. They fled from a base near Tripoli and flew low over Libyan airspace to avoid detection. The turmoil in the country has sent oil prices higher around the world. U.S. oil shot up to near $98 at one point today. British oil was up to $107. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Iran is taking advantage of all the upheaval in the region. It's sending 2 warships into the Suez Canal today for the first time in more than 30 years. And Iran's news agency reports an entire fleet of Iranian warships is scheduled to follow. Israeli officials say the passage of the 2 vessels is provocative, and commentators say it is a challenge both to Israel and the U.S. Chris Mitchell has more from Jerusalem.
It would be the first time since 1979 that Iranian warships have passed through the Suez Canal into the Mediterranean Sea. Israel says it's closely monitoring the situation. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told his cabinet on Sunday that Israel views gravely this Iranian step. we can see just how unstable a region we live in a region where Iran attempts to take advantage of the current situation to advance its influence by passing 2 war vessels through the Suez Canal. Netanyahu said this and other developments show Israel's defense needs, and its defense budget will grow. Radical Islamic Iran and Western-backed Egypt have long vied for supremacy in the Middle East. Pro-democracy protests in Egypt toppled the longtime government of Hosni Mubarak on February 11th. The military is currently ruling Egypt, and Iran would like to see the country transition into a fellow Islamic state. Egypt may have moved a step closer to that last week, with the return from exile of popular radical Islamic cleric Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
For the second time in 5 months, a powerful earthquake has struck one of the biggest cities in New Zealand. The 6.3 quake hit Christchurch at the height of a busy workday, toppling tall buildings and churches and killing at least 65 people. The quake sent thousands of dazed residents racing out into the streets. Authorities believe more than 100 people are trapped in the rubble.
Coming up, the man known as the father of our nation and why there's a debate about his religious beliefs.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
These are the greatest stories ever told. Presented by Academy Award winner Charlton Heston.
Thus saith the Lord of Israel, let my people go.
Join Charlton Heston as he travels the sacred lands of the Bible.
I'm going to take you with me on a journey exploring the stories in the Bible and the ancient land where they happened. This is said to be the very garden. This, the very rock where Jesus prayed for strength.
Now the Bible comes to life like never before. Time Life presents Charlton Heston's The Bible.
And Moses cast the tablets from his hands.
Praised by critics, this landmark TV series is now available on digitally remastered DVDs. You'll be inspired by the greatest stories from the Old and New Testaments, enhanced by historic works of art. Get Charlton Heston Presents the Bible on 4 DVDs for $49.99. Call with your credit card and save $10.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
And that's not all. You'll also get a free bonus DVD that takes you behind the scenes. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, we'll ship for free. That's an additional savings of nearly $7.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever.
Call now to get Charlton Heston's The Bible on 5 DVDs for just $39.99. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll ship for free.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thee.
Call 1-800-748-5167 to order Charlton Heston Presents the Bible for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
Thanks for sticking around. Today is George Washington's birthday.
Over the years, there has been a lot of debate about the man known as the father of our nation, including his religious beliefs. Lee Webb went to Washington's home, Mount Vernon, to look for answers.
First in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his countrymen.
But what was first in George Washington's heart? Was he a deist who believed that God had no real involvement in the world? Or was he indeed a devout Christian who believed that God revealed himself in Scripture and in the person of Jesus Christ, and who involves himself by his good providence in the daily affairs of men and nations?
Up until the bicentennial of his birth, almost everybody thought he was a Christian. But then kind of post-1932, it went the other way, that everybody thought he wasn't a religious man.
Dr. Peter Lilback, president of Westminster Theological Seminary, has spent the last 15 years researching Washington's faith. His 1,100-page book, George Washington's Sacred Fire, includes the Founding Father's own words and the testimony of his family. Lilback's conclusion?
Basically, what we see Washington as is a creedal Christian from the Reformational era. He held to the 39 Articles of the Anglican Church. He was a vestryman, he was a warden, he was a parishioner. He held a pew in 2 different churches, and he was on the building committees of churches.
Lilbeck says it's wrong to compare Washington to a modern-day evangelical. He says Anglicans in Virginia didn't express their faith in the way many Christians do today. But to say our first president paid lip service to Christianity is to ignore the facts.
Washington's grandchildren said as they grew in his family that Washington often spent an afternoon with Martha reading a sermon to her. I've read those sermons. They could be preached in a biblical pulpit today. They're filled with Christian truth.
But what about historians who say Washington was never confirmed in the church?
Washington was never confirmed in the Anglican Church because you need a bishop to do it, and there were no bishops in America.
As for the claim that Washington avoided communion,
all the evidence shows that he communed regularly before the war. After the war, he was now at war with the head of the church. How could you be communion with the King of England when you were trying to fight him?
But Lilbeck points out that some of Washington's closest friends were clergymen, and he entertained many of them at Mount Vernon, something a deist wouldn't have done. Lilbeck also counters the modern-day notion that Washington avoided using the name of Jesus Christ.
For him, Jesus, his name was very sacred. He used that in worship, or only when necessary in a special sense.
But he did use it. Washington told the Delaware Indians in 1779, "You do well to wish to learn our arts and ways of life, and above all, the religion of Jesus Christ. These will make you a greater and happier people than you are." And Lilbeck says Washington's family had no doubt about his firm belief in Christ. They had this verse from the 11th chapter of John engraved over his tomb. Lee Webb, CBN News.
Wow. I've seen that verse over his tomb, and I think that really says it all, too.
I'll tell you what, in that speech he gave to the Delaware Indians, to me that says it as well.
Yeah,
I'm surprised there's still a debate, but it seems like it's swung back the other way where people are believing he's a Christian.
Right. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Up next, from horror to hope, how the infamous case of abortionist Kermit Gosnell is now turning the tide on behalf of the unborn in Philly.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come explore Jerusalem, where Jesus opened blind eyes. Visit the hills of Galilee, where Jesus fed the multitude. Stroll through Capernaum, where Jesus lived and taught and healed. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website. A free idea kit and DVD will be sent to your home so you can discover all the benefits of owning your own pool. Compared to traditional pools, endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Our precision-engineered pools enable you to swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed and ability. Endless pools are perfect for year-round health and fitness, relaxation, and family fun. Our free idea kit and DVD will show you how easy it is for the whole family to enjoy a pool right in your backyard or home. An endless pool or an endless pool swim spa can become a showplace for your home. Call our toll-free number or visit the website to find out more about endless pools. The free idea kit will show you just how easy it is to be able to swim at home.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed a raging storm. Experience Jerusalem, where Jesus restored a paralyzed man. Explore Capernaum, where Jesus spoke a centurion servant into health. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
The governor of Pennsylvania is making sweeping changes to the agencies that oversee abortions.
He acted after an investigation found that the state had done nothing in response to complaints about an abortion clinic. Now, the doctor who ran that clinic is charged with murder. Charlene Israel has this story from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is known as the city of brotherly love, but recent headlines have cast a negative shadow over the city. When authorities raided the clinic of abortionist Kermit Gosnell last February, they were shocked.
The grand jury went to the scene wearing hazmat suits. It was filthy.
According to the 261-page grand jury report, fetuses were stuffed inside a refrigerator. Gosnell and other clinic workers face 8 counts of murder. Authorities say Gosnell reportedly killed scores more, but destroyed the records.
Case after case, Dr. Gosnell and his assistants induced labor, forced the live birth of viable babies in the 6th, 7th, and 8th month of pregnancy, and then killed those babies.
One of Gosnell's patients died after being over-medicated. Tom Corbett is the state's new governor. The grand jury's report was released on his first full day in office. He has taken tough action against those who let this happen.
In some cases, I've accepted resignations. Others have been dismissed outright. Some are suspended while we investigate further, and we're not done.
Late-term abortions are illegal in Pennsylvania. The DA says Gosnell tried to get around the law by starting the abortions at a Delaware clinic, then completing them in Philadelphia. Pro-life pastors from across Delaware are pushing for action.
The grand jury has evidence of at least 6 patients who were treated in Wilmington, then had abortions at Gosnell's clinic.
We're looking at slaughterhouses. I'm not calling them clinics. They're slaughterhouses.
The National Abortion Federation, which provides training, has now suspended work with the Delaware clinic, a move that only came after the grand jury investigation. Adele Finnegan is director of the Southeast Pennsylvania Pro-Life Union. She recalls allegations from a client that Planned Parenthood frequently referred women seeking late-term abortions to Gosnell's clinic.
And then she said, if you were at Planned Parenthood, they wouldn't do some of the abortions for you, but they would tell you about 38th and Lancaster.
CBN News contacted Planned Parenthood of southeastern Pennsylvania about the charges. They declined our request for an interview, but released this statement. Planned Parenthood strongly condemns the alleged actions of Dr. Kermit Gosnell. Planned Parenthood has never referred any patient to Dr. Gosnell's practice. What authorities say was happening here at this clinic in Philadelphia has shocked and saddened the entire country. But it's what pro-lifers believe is continually happening across the country.
This is not the first time. It's one of the worst cases of abuse that you can see, abuse of power, abuse of the medical shingle.
Officials say state regulators had not inspected Gosnell's clinic in nearly 20 years and ignored 46 lawsuits filed against the clinic. Governor Corbett has now introduced changes designed to protect the health and safety of women who use abortion facilities in the future. Among the new rules, abortion clinics must be inspected at least once a year. Clinics that fail to meet basic health standards will be closed. Abortion facilities will be added to the same Department of Health system used to monitor hospitals and other medical facilities. Pastor Herb Lusk of Greater Exodus Baptist Church runs a pregnancy care center in Philadelphia.
This is our answer to the house of horrors that took place in Philadelphia that everybody in the country knows about now.
His Hope Center counters that culture of death.
I'm just thankful that we have a center here in Philadelphia that will navigate poor mothers and people who are expecting to places where they can have safety.
It's convenient. They're wonderful. I actually like it. I like coming over here, so.
Meanwhile, Gosnell is being held without bail and could face the death penalty.
It's not enough to prosecute the wrongdoing. We have to change the culture. That starts here. It starts now.
All encouraging signs to pro-lifers in Philadelphia and across the country, but they admit the battle is far from over.
The abortion industry is a very powerful economic machine. It's about money. The only thing that can stop that is people who are willing to do whatever they can in order to stand up for those children who are unborn, who can't speak for themselves.
Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Millions of women worldwide love Bare Minerals.
This is smooth, it's nice, and it covers. I like that.
Only Bare Minerals looks like beautiful bare skin, while it covers whatever you want it to. And now you can get our latest kit with our totally new, totally spill-proof Click Lock Go Foundation for over 75% off retail. Our new kit comes with Bare Minerals Foundation in the shade that's just right for you. Warmth for a healthy glow. Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch. And Bare Minerals Flawless Application Brush. Call now and get 3 full-size gifts worth $57.95 free. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But now you can get all this for just 1 payment of $29.99. Save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 1-800-376-4174. Ask how you can receive this handy compact. Call 1-800-376-4174 now.
It's impossible to close an open can with a pop top. Open cans spill in the fridge. What a mess. And open cans lose their fizz. What a waste. Introducing Bottle Top. It turns your can into a bottle with the snap of a cap. Open metal cans can't travel. What a waste. Bottle Top turns your can into a bottle that's perfectly portable. You can't do this with an open can. Bottle Top lets any soda keep its carbonation. Look, bugs are gross, but Bottle Top protects your drink from insects. When you're done drinking, just pop it off. Rinse under hot water and reuse. Bottle Top keeps drinks from spilling. Now get 6 colored bottle tops for just $10. Call now and get 6 more. Plus, we'll send you the can top popper. Just pay separate shipping and handling. You get 12 amazing bottle tops, plus the can top popper, all for just $10.
Call 1-800-377-9176. But hurry, call now. We're giving away a bonus 6 more bottle tops and the can top popper with today's orders. That's 1-800-377-9176. Call now.
Welcome back. 720 miles is a far distance to travel, especially on 4 legs. That's exactly how far one California dog went.
Now, after being separated for days, Bear, the dog, and his owner are reuniting. The 20-pound terrier vanished outside of Sacramento. 3 days later, Bear was dropped off at the Humane Society in Tacoma, Washington. No one is quite sure how the dog disappeared or how he made it to Tacoma.
I think somebody picked him up to keep him. He had a name tag on with phone numbers, his name, my last name, and I got no phone calls. Everybody wants him that sees him.
We were all upset. My wife, me, the whole family's been upset over the fact that Bear, because he's such a loved animal. Once we got that phone call on Thursday, it was just like the whole weight lifted off everybody. It was amazing.
We return a lot of animals to their owners, but this is really spectacular.
A microchip underneath Bear's skin helped the Humane Society locate his owner for the reunion. When Bear was released, he ran straight to his owner, but he was quickly distracted by a couple of cats that were waiting to be adopted.
He wanted some sisters. He wanted them to take the cats in with that family there. Well, that's great. I'm glad if someone did pick the dog up, I'm glad they turned it over to the Humane Society there in Washington.
Right. Miraculous. That's all for this edition of CBN News this midday.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Fresh, wholesome juice. There's nothing like it. But until now, you had to stress and strain and make a huge mess to get just a little bit of juice. But not anymore, thanks to the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer. You can drop in whole vegetables, whole fruits, apples, oranges, celery, cucumbers with no chopping, no slicing, no struggling. And thanks to the Power Juicer's revolutionary patented extraction technology, you can get up to 30% more juice than those other juicers. Doctors recommend we get 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. With the Power Juicer, you'll be drinking your recommended daily allowance in just seconds. And the pulp from the extra large pulp catcher can be used to make pasta sauces, healthy desserts, and much more. The Power Juicer is dishwasher safe, so cleanup's a breeze, and the powerful motor is guaranteed for life. Order the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer now for just 2 easy payments of $49.90. And as part of this special TD offer, we'll also send you this amazing recipe guide filled with over 60 of Jack's favorite recipes. Try the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer in your home risk-free for 30 days. If you're not completely satisfied, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price, no questions asked. Call now.
I was always on the cusp of exploding. So I figured out if I get rid of the wife and the kids, then I can just send them money. Went to the junk drawer, I got the Bible out, put the tape in, and I believe that moment, Christ made sense. There is no earthly reason why we're still married. It is a divine intervention, and I thank God, in showing me what love, grace, and forgiveness looks like.